Most people question at one point or another whether the narcissist actually cared for them or not, as a narcissist can treat you better than anyone ever has to then suddenly treat you worse than anyone ever has. And it's very confusing in those times that they are treating you so poorly, yet blaming you because we lived the reality when they treated us so well. This video is about the narcissist and their lack of empathy, and did the narcissist ever truly care? Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support with the channel. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder, to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with in your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you overcome narcissistic abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. Having the ability to empathise is having the ability to care. Sometimes a narcissist can lead us into believing they care by making us doubt and blame ourselves when they show us they don't care for us. Through all their twisted gaslighting words of, if only you hadn't, you'll never find someone like me, and many more, they have us living under their trance, believing that they care. For the most part, we are led to believe that the narcissist totally lacks any empathetic skills. When it comes to asking others whether a narcissist cared about us or not, for the most part, we are led to believe that a narcissist totally lacks any empathetic skills, and that they are often attracted to people with empathy, which they are, as they can guilt trip those with empathy. So the narcissist has more control over them, which is what most narcissistic people are after. Control. They rule through love or fear. They control through love or fear. They want to control those around them. There are different types of empathy. Why some narcissists might seem to have a negative form of empathy. Now, when it comes to a narcissistic psychopath, they usually have zero healthy empathy, zero positive empathy, zero good empathy. According to research, these are the most dangerous, as it's no longer a case that they are single-minded or they lack empathy. It's all about them. It's a case that they simply don't have the ability to care for another human's wants, needs or feelings in any way, shape or form. These are not only negative, toxic people, but they can also be highly dangerous. Empathy is what humans have that make them able to connect and relate to another human, to understand and accept other people's hopes, wishes, feelings, dreams, sadness, joy, pain, whatever another person could be feeling, to be able to sympathise with them or feel joy with them, to feel how someone else could feel within that moment, however long that moment is. People without empathy cannot truly connect with others, communicate on a deeper level with others, cannot genuinely love and care for others, as they cannot relate to how other people feel. Those without healthy empathy only care about their own needs. There are a few types of empathy that humans can have. Cognitive empathy, having an intuition, a rather accurate perspective on how another person might be feeling. It's thinking within our own minds how another person might be feeling. Although all humans can make errors in judgment, even narcissists who will never admit that they do. So when with cognitive empathy, we might occasionally get it wrong, especially around narcissistic people who put on a grand act with their admiration face, so we feel connected with them on a deeper level. We help them, we praise them, we reciprocate those actions and feelings we believe they have for us, as their words and actions at that time are strong and positive towards us. We believe they love and care, although once out of that toxic relationship, we often realise all those times our instincts were literally screaming out at us, yet we didn't know what our instincts were telling us. Just something that the narcissist said or did that didn't quite add up, didn't match our values and beliefs and made us question, yet might not at that time truly be aware within ourselves of what the narcissist meant. Our beliefs were programmed to see the best in everyone, Know that not everyone is perfect, that we all make mistakes, we all have history. As we couldn't see proof of what our instincts were telling us, our empathetic mind overrides them for the reality that we are actually living when the narcissist is treating us well. It gives us that hope that they can be nice, that they can care. The narcissist hasn't got positive cognitive empathy. They can be tuned in instinctively that if they act a certain way towards us, they get their needs met. In the love bombing, the idealization, the future faking, the mirroring. They just like how we are making them feel in return at that moment. The same goes for when they have their envious face on, when they are jealous or insecure, not getting their own way, losing control of someone else's mind, and they start treating people wrong. Our minds are led to believe from when they treat us so right and all their toxic, confusing conversations, provoking us, then shifting the blame over to us, gaslighting us that we are the ones that are at fault. So again, our minds override our instincts, believing we have hurt their feelings and it's something we did wrong, leading us to accept behaviours from them we should have never accepted. We want to help them as we care for them and perceive that how they are feeling and acting towards us is because of something we did wrong. We then want to make it up to them, make them feel better. When we give in and do exactly what they want, a narcissist will offer that intermittent reinforcement of the admiration face. They play nice. We'll feel better as they are happier. They're treating us right. Our cognitive empathy feels happier and we believe it was our fault. It is never your fault. Cognitive empathy is our thoughts to understand how someone else is feeling in a moment. It helps us try and negotiate with those around us as we can think about how they might be feeling, understanding their point of view. Even if it doesn't match our own point, we can try to compromise so as not to hurt another's feelings, yet stick to our own values and beliefs. Sometimes we can then put another person's needs before our own. However, narcissistic people tend to have negative cognitive empathy or extremely low levels of negative cognitive empathy. They cannot relate to how you are feeling in that moment. They cannot see your point of view. They feel no need within themselves to help or motivate themselves to help you feel better. So feel no need to find a compromise. You can be sat crying inconsolably in front of them because of something they did to you, and they will sit there with a glint in their eye, staring straight at us. Sometimes you might catch a moment's smirk on their face as they ponder about how we've made ourselves so upset just because we didn't do exactly as they said, so they had to punish us in some way to make us make it up to them for what they did to us. And yet still we say and try and make it up to them. Because of all their manipulative ways and our empathy, we just do not see they are destroying who we are. They simply at the moment cannot think about us or how we might be feeling. They can think about how they can use our feelings against us to guilt trip us. Even when sat deeply hurt in front of them, their minds haven't the abilities to see how we feel or how they might have caused it. They have the ability to see how they can use how we feel against us. Their negative cognitive empathy just means they are thinking of how they can use things against us, pull on our compassion and caring side to get their own needs met. Even genuine people can at times ignore another person's deep emotions or not put themselves in another person's shoes. It depends on what you have going off within your own life and your own mind at any given moment. If we have so much going off, we can miss meeting a need of another, unintentionally hurting someone's feelings. Yet often afterwards, if that person asks, when we will feel some form of remorse or guilt, blame ourselves, learn from our errors in judgment. Whereas the narcissistic person's mindset, when they can sit and watch you cry when they hurt you, or others intentionally or unintentionally, they are so wrapped up in getting their own needs met, they cannot think about how they've made you feel. They cannot reflect back to look and see what they did, as they believe what they did was right. it's somehow your fault. They cannot feel that level of guilt or remorse to see the consequences of their own behaviour. They might feel a moment of shame, which is why they pass the blame to remove any feelings of shame. Cognitive empathy is more about thinking empathetically rather than feeling empathetic. So the narcissist might understand that we are sad or happy, yet they cannot put themselves in our shoes to think about how we might be feeling or how they could help us. Only ever how they can help themselves. If they are not getting their own way, if they have pushed us too far to the point we say no more, this is when they will recognise they need to say sorry. Yet they don't have the empathy to mean the sorry. They don't have the remorse for the feelings for us and giving a genuine apology for something they have done. They just see at that moment that they haven't finished with us yet, that they still need to use us to meet a need, or they haven't got another person lined up. This is when you'll often get the false apology that if you hadn't, I wouldn't. I'm sorry, but you. Or they'll pull on your empathy. I know I need to change. I need you to help me. Then as soon as you accept their apology, they are back to their true form of being themselves. Then, if you have enough and go no contact, some will up their games, using your empathy against you, knowing exactly which vulnerabilities to hit to cause you inner pain and turmoil as they have lost control. Narcissists feel anger and resentment towards you. They seek revenge. As they cannot empathise, they don't care for how bad they make you feel, which is why it comes so naturally to most and why some of their games are so hideous. It is possible for people that have cognitive empathy actually to show compassion to others, to meet a need of their own, yet they lack the emotional empathy to sympathise when they are hurting someone. Emotional empathy. This is when one person can physically feel in a moment just how another is feeling. If someone around you is happy, you actually feel their happiness. It's a bit like watching a comedian, even if they're not that funny, because they're laughing and because other people in the room are laughing, you then begin to laugh with them, even though you might not realise at the time that that is happening. If someone is sad, you might feel their sadness. If someone is negative, you might feel negative. If someone is hurting, you might feel hurt. Like someone smiles at you, it becomes contagious and you smile back. Someone else's emotions can become contagious and have a direct impact on your own emotional state. Often why we end up feeling so negative around narcissistic people. How you physically feel matches them. Like when you're around that narcissist, you feel emotionally negative. When you are around a love-bombing narcissist, you feel emotionally high and happy. Narcissistic people on some level have this again in a negative way. While those around them are meeting their needs, they fill up on positive emotions and they reflect them back out. When someone isn't meeting their need, they feel negative and reflect them back out. They do not have the ability to feel how another is feeling, only how they are, and getting their own way and getting their own needs met. So when they are angry, you might connect on an emotional level and want to help them out. Yet when you are angry, they cannot relate and have no intentions of helping you out, just how they can use your anger against you to guilt trip you. If you are sad, they cannot relate. They just see it as attention slipping away from themselves and they want to do all they can to pull that attention back onto them. Having emotional empathy helps people to connect with others on a much deeper level, to connect and communicate with others and compromise on meeting each other's needs, as many narcissists are missing emotional empathy or have cut themselves off completely from these feelings due to overwhelming childhood traumas. That was their coping mechanism and they never learned to pull back out of it. When people feel overwhelmed with emotions, it can be extremely draining and can lead to psychological burnout, often then making even the smallest of tasks incredibly hard to manage and interacting with others extremely daunting. Often when around negative, hurtful, narcissistic people, we end up feeling tired, drained, irrational, cutting ourselves off from the outside world, confused, full of anxiety, and sometimes leading to depression. Compassionate empathy. When we can think and feel how another is feeling, when we become extremely moved to help them any way we can. This is the empathetic ability narcissists seem to be completely lacking in, and what can keep us trapped in a narcissistic relationship, no matter who that narcissist is within our lives, friends, family members, bosses, partners. We can think how they feel and feel how they feel, and we are moved into helping them. Why even the grandiose narcissist might pull out the victim card to pull on our empathy and get their needs met. Also why they can hurt you so badly and just walk away. They cannot think and feel about how they might have made you feel. They have detached their emotions and simply do not care, especially if their own needs are being met elsewhere. They just see no more need for you within their life, yet if you're not giving them what they want, they feel anger towards you. And as they have cognitive empathy, they know exactly what your weaknesses and vulnerabilities are, and they will use them against you to hurt you as they throw massive tantrums to get their own way. Narcissists potentially have negative empathy. They might actually have empathy, just different from those who actually care about others. Whether they can see the empathy in others, then use others' empathy to manipulate, to take people down, to find the empathy in another towards them and use it against them to meet their own needs. Once these needs are no longer getting met, they seek to destroy. They use people's caring, the empathetic side in others against themselves so that the narcissist can achieve their goal. Just like negative emotions, so that they might have the cognitive empathy, yet they can only use it to see another's empathy as to what they can gain from it, what vulnerabilities they can use against someone to manipulate. They don't have the emotional empathy to actually care about how the other person might be feeling. People with empathy can still feel anger and rage when others provoke them. They can still feel frustrated when people provoke them. Narcissistic people can pick up on others' empathy, on what others genuinely care about the most. Then instead of using positive empathy to connect in a positive way to help others out, to lift others up, they use what people care about the most to hurt people the most, to get people to react and defend themselves so that they can use people's defences against them, so they can manipulate to meet a need of their own. Some people can have 2 or 3 narcissistic characteristics, yet not be on the disorder, as they do have the empathy to care for others on a genuine level, even if it's limited. Those you can manage yourself around. Others with 5 or more traits on the narcissist personality disorder spectrum, no contact is always the best for your recovery. According to current research, narcissist psychopaths are usually born without empathy. Narcissists and narcissistic sociopaths tend to have some early childhood trauma, so they cut off the empathy towards others to save themselves. The best way to handle those on the lower end of the scale, or handle yourself around those on the lower end of the scales, those you cannot cut out of your life. Don't give them anything they can cut you with. Don't tell them about yourself. Don't ask about them. Be monotonously boring as you can possibly be. Don't make eye contact when face to face. Just look at the top of their ear. Keep things on a need-to-know basis. If they are provoking your emotions to create anger, retreat, rethink, and only respond if you need to do so. Remember, you cannot change who they are or how they treat people. You can change how you respond and how you let them make you feel. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes patience. It's a learning curve. It might feel uncomfortable. You might slip up. And when you do slip up, that dark cloud can hit. It's just to remind you to go again, try a new approach so you feel happy. It's not mean treating those who hurt you this way. It's for your mental health. You can and you will recover from this. I shall add in the video description the reasons why narcissistic people can go around hurting others. If you are looking for further support, I have partnered with BetterHelp and their sponsored link is in the description if you'd like to take a look at that. Thank you very much for listening. Go out there, create the day that you deserve because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.